when it comes to Caitlin Clark. And that consistency is that everybody is saying one thing, whether they change, the specifics of it, or they talk about defense, or they talk about other aspects. The one consistent theme is
Team USA has just named its starting point guard for the 2026 World Cup qualifiers, and it's sending shockwaves through the basketball world. After Caitlin Clark's injury-plagued 2025 season, many questioned whether she could still compete at the international level. But what coaches witnessed during her first week back on the court changed everything. Clark didn't just prove she was healthy, she proved the entire Team USA system needed to adapt to her style of play, not the other way around. The implications for both the Indiana Fever and Team USA are massive.
Back to being able to play, it was a combination of USA players going against USA players, and then also USA players going against the scout team, which is just players from small colleges all across North Carolina sort of helping out with that scout team practice. And, she looked like Caitlin. The step back three was there, the passes.
When Caitlin Clark walked into Team USA training camp in December, everyone watched closely. Could she still move like the rookie who shattered 62 records? Her 2025 season was filled with setbacks: a preseason quad strain, another quad injury early on, and then a groin strain in mid-July that sidelined her for months. An ankle bone bruise followed, ending her season. 6 months without 5-on-5 basketball raised serious questions. The medical staff knew the risks. Groin injuries affect lateral movement, and ankle issues change how you plant and cut. Coaches studied every step, looking for separation on drives and that explosive first step. Clark admitted she had rust to shake off, but her warm-up movement told a different story. The fluidity was back. Sue Bird noticed immediately Clark's signature step-back three was still automatic, balanced and perfectly timed, just like her Iowa days.
Naturally, just a lot more physical than other levels of basketball, even more physical than the WNBA. So having to see Caitlin go at scouting players who were, instructed to play at a FIBA level of physicality was interesting, considering how long she's been out.
Other veterans conducted their own evaluations, watching how Clark moved without the ball. Was there hesitation changing directions? Any compensation that might signal lingering issues? At the international level, the pace is relentless. One awkward step or missed cut can expose a weakness opponents will target immediately. Sabrina Merchant from The Athletic observed that Clark's passing and court vision were fully intact. Annie Costabile of Front Office Sports focused on her health. Both came away encouraged, though the real test came in live scrimmages when the tempo increased and contact intensified. Clark confidently declared herself 100% healthy, and her play backed it up. Her lateral quickness was sharp, her explosion to the rim effortless, and she finished through contact without limitation. That changed the conversation. Coaches weren't asking if she could contribute anymore, they were deciding how much responsibility she could handle. The starting point guard role suddenly became realistic. Then something unexpected happened. Veterans who had played together for years looked out of sync. Darica Hamby brought down one of Clark's passes instead of keeping it moving. That's not how you play with Clark. Her passes were ahead of the action, forcing teammates to think faster. Hamby wasn't alone. Others hesitated on cuts and paused when they should have moved. Clark's vision was already pushing everyone else to adapt.
Of this injury, this was kind of the first time that we all have seen her operating at 100% since her injury, and she herself admitted, even though I feel like I'm at 100, there's still...
Clark's court vision was operating faster than the rest of the team could process. She threaded passes into spaces that looked empty, knowing a teammate would arrive a split second later. The issue wasn't her vision, it was the pace around her. Teammates were thinking at the old speed while Clark was already 3 steps ahead. The coaching staff quickly noticed the timing problems. Players were late on cuts and missed passing windows Clark created. When she kicked the ball out after drawing defenders, teammates weren't ready for the quick release opportunities. They needed extra time to react to plays. Clark had already seen developing her logo range shooting created another challenge. Defenders had to pick her up from nearly 30 feet, stretching the defense and opening passing lanes that rarely existed. Clark found angles through coverage that shouldn't have been there but her. Teammates weren't yet accustomed to those spaces. Here's where it gets interesting. The coaches didn't try to slow Clark down. They didn't ask her to simplify her game or wait for others to catch up. Instead, they pushed the rest of the team to think faster. Practices shifted to moving at Clark's speed. The entire offensive system began to reshape itself around her strengths. Her passing dictated spacing. Her shooting range influenced set design. Her decision-making speed set the tempo. This was no longer about Clark adapting to Team USA's style. The team was adapting to her. Coaches redesigned plays and created new sets to unlock her vision and stretch the offense in ways they never had before.
Not playing with Aaliyah Boston, some of the bigs didn't know what to do with their passes. There was one time where she passed it to Hamby, and Hamby brought the ball down. It's you can't do that. This is not. You have to keep it up, right? Straight up. Just not expecting where that was.
One partnership at Team USA camp was creating serious buzz among coaches. Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston looked like they'd been playing together for years because they had their Indiana Fever. Chemistry translated effortlessly to the national team, while others were still adjusting to Clark's timing. Boston was already reading her mind. Bigger players struggled with Clark's pace, but Boston caught everything cleanly and finished through traffic. Their pick and roll was automatic, perfect timing, perfect spacing. A logo range shooter paired with a mobile center like Boston is a nightmare for international defenses. Boston's ability to finish? Clark's passes in traffic gave coaches a glimpse of what this duo could do on the world stage. Clark created passing windows that barely existed, and Boston capitalized with soft hands and strong finishes. The inside-out balance they provided was exactly what Team USA needed. Other post players took notes as Boston slipped screens, rolled hard, and read defenses early. The chemistry wasn't forced, it was natural, built over a full WNBA season together.
Entry pass to Hamby, the kind of pass that only Caitlin Clark can make, and Hamby puts the ball on the floor as was described. Here you'll see it. So some ball movement at the top of the key.
The presence of Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White as a Team USA assistant strengthened the connection even more. White knew how to use the Clark-Boston duo because she'd coached them all season. Having a familiar voice on the sideline gave both players confidence to play freely, turning their partnership into the foundation for something bigger than individual success. Coaches weren't just seeing chemistry, they were seeing the beginnings of a new Team USA identity. The Fever style was influencing how the national team wanted to play. Clark and Boston were emerging as the backbone of the next Olympic cycle. At Duke's training camp, head coach Kara Lawson was building more than a roster for the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. She was shaping the future of Team USA. A young core featuring Clark, Boston, Paige Buchers, and others challenged the traditional approach built on size and athleticism. This group played faster, thought quicker, and created opportunities past teams. Couldn't Lawson faced a pivotal choice: force them into the old system or build something new around their strengths. Clark's leadership at point guard elevated everyone. Boston fed off her energy, and other young players raised their level to match her standards. She wasn't just running plays, she was setting the tone.
That's part of getting used to playing with Caitlin Clark. If you remember at her rookie year, a lot of her teammates dropped a lot of passes, I think, that they weren't prepared for because she sees things.
The 2026 World Cup qualifiers in Germany became a testing ground for lineups that could dominate in Los Angeles. Every combination Kara Lawson tried in camp scrimmages was evaluated for its potential 2 years ahead. The chemistry between Clark and Boston was clear, but coaches still questioned which veterans could match their pace and which young players deserved longer looks. International scouts were already studying film as Team USA playbook was rewritten in real time. The element of surprise wouldn't last once this group hit. International competition. Angel Reese explained the selection process simply. Players were chosen for specific reasons and specific contributions. That mindset fit exactly what Lawson wanted. Everyone understood they were there to earn their role. Clark's return summed up the moment. She admitted the injury setbacks were frustrating, but said it felt good to finally be back at 100%. Her honesty made her performance even more impressive. Team USA began shaping its identity around Clark's vision. The Durham camp laid the foundation for 2026 and beyond, with Los Angeles 2028 already in sight. Clark proved she isn't just back, she's evolved into the leader this generation needs. Her chemistry with Boston and the young core is becoming the blueprint for the future. Are you excited to see Clark back on the court? Show some love for Caitlin in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out.